Hey everybody, this is the ROG Z590 Glacial Extreme Maximus. You get the idea. Sorry for the view here. My setup right now is not large enough to get this whole thing into frame. I received this from Newegg. I purchased this myself. If you clicked on this video just to find out if you should buy it, the answer is if you have the money and you care for it that much, and you don't care in particular if it's a smart purchase or not, buy it. But be careful if you buy from Newegg, apparently. So I got mine from Newegg, and mine came pre-open. Thank you. And I spoke to Newegg about it, and they said Customs may have opened it. That's bullcrap. Customs will never open this, okay? But yeah, I even asked an ASUS rep, and no, Customs will not open motherboards. Okay. So aside from it being open already, I also have marks on the block, but I'm going to show you what you get in this box. I ordered another one from Amazon for myself, and I'm going to go over my thoughts on the Z590 platform as well, and a little bit about current motherboards and their pricing. Okay, so it's a very nice kind of suitcase style box. All right, it actually doesn't open this way. It actually opens from this side. Alright, so it's going to look upside down, but it's actually not. Alright, so the flap opens up, and inside you are greeted with pretty much a dual layer box, okay? So you have the ROG logo here, and you're going to have to be a little bit careful while you move this thing over, because the board's right underneath, and it kind of just flops open like that. Alright, and now you'll see this is what you get. You get the water block itself, the mono block, okay? This covers the chipset, the M2, and the CPU and the VRMs. You get a 6-pack of, I believe, 14mm OD. Yeah, 14mm OD hard tube fitting. Okay, for 14mm tubing. All right, 1014. All right. So on this side you have the block. We'll get to that in a second. And on this side you have the motherboard itself. Okay. Now I'm not going to put this one together because this one's going back to Newegg since it came damaged and it came open. To be honest, if it was open, it's not a big deal. But when you pay $1,500 plus tax, you can't have scuffs. I have scuffs all over here. The camera may not pick it up, but you'll see. All right. So the VRM layout here is actually a little bit different than the Extreme. All right. So similar, but a little bit different than the Extreme in terms of componentry. Other than that, you get pretty much what you would get if you bought the Extreme board, okay? Except for you have the silver instead of the black, and you have the mirror aluminum instead of the whatever color's on the Extreme, okay? And you get a white I/O shield. So the back plate, unfortunately, is not white. It's just like the regular Extreme, half a back plate. And okay, so you will also get whatever. There's a very strong foam smell with this board because of all this foam. It really needs to be aired out. It's like really, it stinks. It literally stinks. The foam smell. All right. So I mean the packaging is pretty good, right? About time ASUS stepped up their packaging. So let's get the block out here. This is probably one of the reasons why this thing costs so much. All right, for you guys that don't know, this board is $1,500 retail plus local tax wherever you are. You get, see, and it's all smudged up too, lovely. But if you can, I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but I have all these faint scratches and scuffs on mine, which is the main reason I'm sending it back. The fact that it's open is whatever, right? But yeah, so it does the VRM. It does the chipset, you can see. I assume this is pretty much whatever the cooling engine of the Velocity would be. Maybe, I don't think it's the magnitude. I can't really tell without taking it out. I will take it out on the new one I get from Amazon. But you get, for those that don't know, this screen here displays temperatures, etc. Nothing that current ASUS motherboards don't already do. And it'll give you water temperature. Alright? I believe the rings around here will also give you leak warnings. But in my opinion, if it's leaking, you're going to know it's leaking without seeing the light on here. Alright, that's just kind of common sense, right? So under here, you get the rest of your board accessories. Alright, so if we lift this out, you will get your... Alright, so this is the regular, like, books and junk, right? Nobody really cares about. And you get some screws, installation accessories for the block, right? All the screws are in here, your Wi-Fi, your pads, all that is in here. So I'll teach you how to put this block on. Alright, so on this side you'll get your SATA cables and some other wires. And the only difference here that I see versus like the regular ASUS Extreme packaging stuff is here. Okay, so you get a nice screwdriver. You get a fan. Let me just move this box a little bit over. You get a fan controller, RGB controller. Alright. So, and I think this is a USB DAC. So, see, it does RGB and it does fan control. Alright. So you get one of these. I think they were, yeah, it has seemed to have a proprietary connector. Yep, a USB old mini B2 or whatever that is as well. Is that a temp sensor? Yes, a temp sensor as well. So I guess it's kind of like a ASUS version of an Aquero, right? And you get a screwdriver, and you get a DIMM.2 that is not anodized. It may be, is this anodized? Yeah, actually it is. For you guys who like the silver M.2, you'll notice in my 909 build I have one. What you can do is just get some caustic acid. You can always use like drain cleaner crystals and just soak it, and you'll take the anodizing off and you'll have a silver one just like this. So that was your thing, now you know how to get one. So you get that in the box, and that's pretty much it. So essentially you're getting a Z590 Extreme plus a monoblock, and that is a very heavy package. The board boxed together is like 18 pounds, but that's what you get for $1,500. Now, is it worth it? No, not really, right? I don't think anyone will tell you it's worth it to spend $1,500 on a platform that only supports 8 cores. Now, like I said, I have one of these for myself, but I'm going to be using a 10900K because I don't think I really need the PCIe 4, right? For current gen GPUs. For gaming, you don't really need PCIe 4 if you have PCIe 3x16. I would say the only people that this might benefit in terms of PCIe 4 with the newer chips is that, you know, you can then have 2 NVMEs as well on an expansion card, right? That's the only benefit. Run the GPUs at X8, that's the same thing as X16 on PCIe Gen 3, and that's the only reason to have one of the newer chips, because at the end of the day, generally speaking, not just in certain games, generally speaking, the 10 core of the last generation is still going to be a better buy. Number one, it's cheaper, right? And it's cheaper than the current 8 core 11900K. And I think that is just a really dumb marketing misstep. Intel really should have named it a 99, but that's a whole. Let me get this box closed and continue this video. To continue on this video about motherboards, aside from it being about the Glacial, I'll do a more in depth of that when my new one comes from Amazon and I get it going. So this is the ASUS X570 Dark Hero. This is the regular Hero, Light Hero, whatever you want to call it. Now, for the difference between these two boards is that the dynamic OC feature, which is a software feature, which I don't see why it can't be carried on over here, in my opinion, but ASUS says it can't be. Okay, but that's marketing, in my opinion, and that's how you make money. This board today is $450, okay? And when ASUS redid this board, they revamped the VRM a little bit. They got rid of the heatsink fan over here. They got rid of the chipset fan, replaced with a solid heatsink. And Then this board was supposed to be $30 more than the original Hero. All right. Obviously, you cannot buy this board for this board. I swear this board came out like $300. Maybe I'm wrong. The Wi-Fi one was $330 or whatever. But this board, you can't find it now. You can't find this one most of the time. And this thing's like $440 on Newegg, right? This is not a $400 board, people. This is like a $250 board at best, all right? So I know the pandemic, I know the increase in cost, but let's just go back in history for a second. Oh yeah, by the way, you can buy these used easily, $250, $300. Do not buy this board. If you don't need it, if you have a 16 core, you still don't need this board. The VRM on here is already overkill for a 16 core current gen Ryzen, okay? This is completely unnecessary. The dynamic OC, in terms of clocking a little higher when you have more power draw, in games, you won't notice. In regular activity, you won't notice. In benchmarks, yes, you won't notice. But then you can just manually overclock if you're doing that, right? You're not gonna do no dynamic OC for when you're going after benchmarks, okay? So this board, in reality, is completely pointless. It's a completely pointless upcharge over this one. It's really just to, I don't even know. I mean, this fan barely made any noise, so this is not gonna be quieter because I couldn't even hear this one. And I guess if you wanted it black, get some tape, spray paint it, right? Get some window tint, stick it over, and you have a black one. So, speaking of the boards and their pricing, this is my gripe, okay? We have now a mainstream board, the Extreme Z590 Extreme is $900. That is insane. I don't care about import tariffs and all that. That is insane, all right? The Z390 Hero, the Corsair, the Crosshair 7 Hero, 6 Hero, right? The 6 Hero was $250, I think, and now the Z590 Hero is $500. Like, what the hell? The Z390 Hero was $300, and that was a budget board. Now you have the Z590 Hero at $500. It's almost like double, and there's no reason for that. I mean, I understand there's a tariff increase. Let's say tariff is 25%. That board went up a lot more than 25%, right? So they're just making these boards extremely high price because people don't willing to pay them, and people need to stop paying it. And that's all I can say. I mean, if you look at the Threadripper boards, right? The Threadripper TRX 40 Alpha Extreme that I have, that board is $850. You can go buy it $850 today. That board has more componentry and is more advanced than, it's one of probably the most heavily loaded motherboards in terms of feature set, etc. It has, dual LAN, all that junk, okay? And that board is $850. And today, the Extreme for Z590, which only supports 8 cores if you buy the latest Intel processor, is $900. And it comes with the same accessories, same loaded junk, okay? The pricing is out of control. And it's not just ASUS, it's also Aorus that's doing this. Their version of their Glacier is like, the Re1 with the water force. That's $1,500 too. No one's paying $1,500. Okay. In terms of these Z590 Glacials, I don't care if you're the world's largest fanboy. You're not. Most of them are not paying $1,500 for that board. That's why it's still in stock at Newegg. It's still in stock on Amazon because the demand is just not there. You created a product that's so niche on a platform that sucks ass. It's completely pointless. If you had made, let's say they made a glacial version of the, with the X570, and let's say they gave you a whole custom EK collab on this, right? And they amped up the stuff a little bit more, complete overkill. You charge $1,000, $1,100. I can see people buying that because this platform, while it's also dead, right? The socket's dead, folks. The next gen Ryzen is not going to use this socket either. So this is also a dead socket. But this dead socket goes up to 16 cores. The other dead socket is currently latest at 8. Okay? There's a lot more room here. It's a faster platform in general. So if they had done it here, that would have made a little more sense. And if they didn't charge $1,500, they charged $1,100. People will buy that, right? I mean, you have the high-end enthusiasts that'll buy that, but no enthusiast is going to spend $1,500 on an 8-core motherboard. All right. I mean, I did, but I'm doing it because that's a stupid reason. All right, just because it's a stupid reason. All right. So, but if you're somebody that cares about your money and you care about making smart decisions, don't buy that motherboard, and don't even buy this one, because this is unreal. Like, you could buy B550 MSI, like maybe not MSI. Yeah, some of the MSI, like the Unifies, like the B550. That's just as good as this. I mean, the BIOS is pretty good for most MSI boards. I'm personally not a huge fan of Aorus boards and their BIOS, but that's not a bad way to go. So if you can get this used for $250, which you can, I'm personally going to sell this one because I have this. I have 2 of these. I don't need this. I'll probably be selling this for like $250. So, and this is a much better deal because people are paying like, this is $450 if you can buy it. People are scalping these for like $500-600. Completely not worth it at all. Okay, so that's pretty much for this video. I would say if you're looking into buying 11th gen Intel processors, at least get the 11700K. Don't buy the 900K. Those two processors are identical. Okay, and when you slap them in a motherboard that has like multi-core enhancement, they're gonna perform identical. You're literally just paying the extra to kick yourself in the nuts. That's pretty much it. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching. And oh yeah, been a little busy, so haven't been uploading that much. The H-frame is still going. It's not done yet. I will post an update on that. I'm just waiting for the distro portion of it now, and then I'll wrap it up. I did also get some other stuff in. I have gotten more AMD 6900 XT cards now. I got a Devil recently, a Liquid Devil. So I will be showing that off and doing a video on that. I don't plan to set world records on it, but it's nice to, mess with AMD cards. Okay, so thanks for watching and take care.